Lok Sabha elections. The big buzz wherever you go now is who has the edge, who has the buzz. Is it ab ki baar 400 par, as is the adage which is being expressed by the Bharatiya Janata Party? Is the story of India alliance now as good as done and dusted, because there is no alliance? Well, there is a survey which has been done by YouGov and CPR in partnership with Mint. They're calling it the Millennial Survey, and that caught my attention. I thought that let's have a chat and let's get to hear from you. What do you make out of what is being stated by this survey? Interesting questions being posed here. Nearly half of urban Indians link Ram Temple event with upcoming polls. Do people agree? Do people not agree? If you look at the findings of the survey of this specific question, 51% of those who were surveyed believe that this inauguration corrects the historical wrongs which have been done to Hindus, whereas 49% believe that this is just before the Lok Sabha elections, which is meant to take over the Hindu votes. But that's not where the story is. The story is that those who are BJP supporters are further reinstating, are further strengthening their belief in their intention to vote for the BJP, and even within the Congress supporters, there is a feeling that the inauguration is indeed correcting the historical wrongs done to Hindus. And what is that figure? 32% believe that out of the Congress supporters, 32% believe that this inauguration corrects the historical wrongs which have been done to Hindus. Now, honestly, the strategizers of the Congress party would be very, very worried about this figure, because 30% essentially implies that 1 in every 3 people are of the view that this inauguration of the Ram Temple has been done to correct historical injustices against the Hindus. Which in other words implies that the probability of this lot of 30% Congress supporters switching sides to the BJP because of Ram Temple cannot be removed. And that's something which should be of interest and worry to the Congress supporters. Most urban Indians link the country's recent global achievements to the government. This was the second question which has been posed. When it comes to India's Chandrayaan landing, 34% believe that the current government has played an indirect role, whereas 44% believe that the current government has had a direct role. India's record show at the Asian Games, again, 34% believe that it is either due to an indirect or direct role of the central government. Oscar wins in 2023 for Indian artists. This is where there is a belief that maybe because of all the attacks which have happened on some prominent writers who do not toe the line of the central government, the feeling that freedom of speech is under threat, 48% here believe that the central government doesn't have any role. But the big picture here also is this, that most Indians are of the view that the central government has had either a direct role or a direct role in 2 of the biggest achievements that we've seen in our times. India's Chandrayaan landing and India's record show at the Asian Games. You know what that tells you? That tells you that if you were to look at this index as a declaration of intent, if this was a sentiment, purely a sentiment mapping index, it tells you that most people are of the view that whatever is happening right around us is happening because of the central government in some way or the other. Now, this belief, this trust in a party, this trust in an individual is something that has been missing in Indian political lexicon for the last 2 decades. And that's where Narendra Modi really comes into play. So if someone was to ask you that what is the Modi factor, this is the Modi factor, where a major chunk of Indian population believes that most things which are happening around them which are right, which are correct, which give them a positive sense, it is happening in large parts due to the involvement of the central government. What about national security? That's the other question which was raised here. Do people believe that it's the central government which should be credited? Should the central government adopt this muscular foreign policy? 46% overall believe that India must continue to show restraint in response to cross-border terror, whereas 54% are in agreement with this muscular policy which is being shown. That if someone slaps you once, you slap the other person twice. India must not think twice before authorizing military action against its neighbors. That's the viewpoint being expressed by 54% people. And here also, much like the Ram Temple question, you look at the Congress supporters, you look at the BJP supporters, 43% of Congress supporters believe that India should show restraint, whereas 57% believe that India should not show restraint. Now, if you look at the Ram Temple question, where 30% believe that this was being done to correct the historical wrongs against the Hindus, and you blend it with national security, muscular foreign policy, 57% Congress supporters in agreement that India must continue to show this muscular foreign policy. If I was Rahul Gandhi, and thank God I'm not, I would be looking at these statistics very, very seriously. Because it tells you that somewhere there's a disconnect in what Rahul Gandhi with his Mohabbat Ki Dukaan, with his Bharat Jodo Yatra, with his Nyaya Yatra is trying to achieve, which is to reach out to a section which is maybe wanting to walk the central path. The central path, folks, is disappearing for India. The sooner the opposition parties realize it, the better it is. What about nationwide caste census? Overall, if you look at it, over 50% people believe a nationwide caste census would be detrimental to India's national interests, as it would create more divisions in society. If you look at how many people believe that India must conduct this nationwide survey, it's a small minority. Here also, the position being taken by the opposition parties. Nitish Kumar, the architect of the caste census, the state in which this caste census was first approved, you see how Nitish Kumar quickly has gone and made amends with the BJP. Where does it leave the Congress party? Where does it leave the other regional parties who thought that caste census could end up being a major tool? Here also, if you look at what the BJP has done very cleverly, is to put the right spin. What is the caste question which is put by the BJP, by the Prime Minister, that my caste is how to deal with the poor, the underprivileged, downtrodden. And it's the opposition parties who are trying to look at caste purely through the prism of what your caste identity is. Look at what the Prime Minister said recently in Parliament. He was directly accusing the Congress party that you are trying to create splinters, you're trying to create fissures within the country by consistently talking about caste. Simultaneous elections. Even here, the story is slightly different in the simultaneous election question, and maybe that's one reason why it seems to have been put on the back burner, because 62% of BJP supporters believe democracy is stronger when we have elections at multiple levels with different frequencies. Congress supporters also 66% believe so. Overall, 63% people expressing their disagreement with this view that simultaneous elections will be better for Indian democracy. Look at all these factors, folks, and you will realize who has the edge. On the road to 2024, every day, we will try and give you some nuggets of information, some insights which will tell you who really has the edge. As far as this survey is concerned, it's very clear to me, ab ki baar 400 par may or may not be possible, but ab ki baar 350 par, ab ki baar 350 plus for Narendra Modi is a realistic target if you look at the findings of this survey.